As I'm sure you know, assignment 3 is due at the end of this week. Now, I want to emphasize that this is an argumentative or persuasive essay. It is not a pro-con essay, which is an essay in which you give both sides of the argument and don't really take a side. In this essay, you must take a side. Now, while you're taking a side, you also have to consider the opposing point of view. If you have been following along in the chapters of the textbook as outlined in the syllabus, you should have a pretty good idea by now of how this they say, I say argument works. As you know, you bring up the opposition only to counter it. Because in the mind of the audience, if you don't have another side to the story, another side to the argument, then the audience is going to wonder what you're hiding, what are you covering up, what are you ignoring. So it's really by considering the opposition that you strengthen your own case. And I want to point out that really we have been building on the assignments week by week. Assignment 1, you used personal experience to explain an issue. And, you know, that's personal. That makes for an interesting essay often. However, personal experience is really not the most compelling form of evidence. Let me give you an example. If I were to have a disease, and someone gave me, or a doctor gave me, an experimental drug, and I got better. Now, does that demonstrate that that drug is safe and effective for people to use? I think you'll agree, certainly not. That's why scientists run large-scale trials. So it's personal experience. It's interesting. It can make for an interesting essay, as we've seen. Some of our writers have used personal experience combined with other types of support. But in the second essay, then, we used paraphrase and quotation to summarize the views of the various authors, to compare and contrast them. So this is an opportunity for you to learn how to integrate sources into a paper, how to make it your own paper, but yet to use secondary sources. Now, in this third essay, you're going to use sources again to support an argument. You're going to integrate that evidence, the facts, the explanations, the statistics, the expert opinions of the authors that you've read, and you're going to use them to back up your own view, which is going to be, of course, expressed in your thesis. However, it is your own view, I know, and it should be, but at the same time, you should not use first person. First person point of view, that is the word I as a pronoun or the word we as a pronoun. For the most part, you should also avoid using second person, which is you, that is addressing the reader directly. And this is a matter of having a mature style, because you don't really need those first or second person pronouns. You don't need first person pronouns to express an opinion. To say I think, or I believe, or it seems to me is not necessary. If you express an opinion, just say what the opinion is. The reader will recognize it as an opinion and will judge it based on the evidence that you have to back it up. So we did this in assignment 1. You use first person just so you recognize it and you know you're not going to use it in this particular paper or in assignment number 4. So one way to make sure that you're not lapsing back into first person or even second person, if that's a problem, is to do a search in Microsoft Word and other word processing programs. Look for the word I. Now, if it's not in quotation marks, you've got to strike it. Now, I say do a word search because in Microsoft Word, if you just say search for I, the letter I, you're going to get probably hundreds of hits on that. What you want to do is make sure you check the box that says whole word only, and then it will flag any time that I is used as a pronoun. I want you to pay attention to all of the instructions. So many of the problems that I see are simply a matter of not understanding or not adhering to the instructions. For example, the length. The length is important, and it's not arbitrary. It's what you need in order to fully develop an argument. You need to use the MLA format with a cover page, which is not required by MLA, but I'm requiring it. The information that you would normally put for MLA at the top left-hand corner, you put centered on a cover page. You need to have in-text citation. Now, sometimes these can be as simple as a attribution within your sentence to a certain author. And you need a works cited page, a separate works cited page formatted exactly as MLA tells you, which means, among other things, that each entry has a hanging indent and that the entries are alphabetized. If you're not yet conversant with MLA citation style, please go back to week 8, I believe it was, where I have a video about how to format citations and the overall paper according to MLA style. Also, you can use the Purdue OWL website, which is excellent and easy to understand, or you can use the Little Seagull Handbook, which has extensive information on both MLA and APA, should you ever have to use APA for another course. So this week, I just think Michael Moss's article on the addictive science of junk food is just a jaw-dropping, eye-opening game changer. I think your eyes are going to be bulging when you read some of the things that, for example, the food executives say in the article, or as he quotes them. So we're building up to your final essay on the role of government regulation of food nutrition. So you have the articles by Moss and David Zinchenko on the one side of the issue, and then you have another article by Radley Balco that takes a pretty much diametrically opposed issue as far as the role of government in regulating food and nutrition is concerned. So you'll get to take sides, and this is working toward your final paper. You'll get to take sides in both the discussion and the journal this week. And finally, I think you'll enjoy the clip that I provided from one of Jim Gaffigan's stand-up routines, a lighter look at what's a very serious issue. So, eat fresh.